What up, people? It's your boy, the host with the most. I do not brag or boast, and I'm coming to you guys live from coast to coast. It's your boy. I'm Chris Dom One, and welcome to a fabulous episode of Too Early for This podcast, episode 211. How y'all living? I'm living swell. Feel free, be sure, hit the subscription button, the notification bell. Share this podcast with your friends, family, as well as your followers. Let's get this podcast lit in the podcast algorithm. You heard me? You can also rewatch the re-air episode of Too Early for This podcast on my YouTube channel. I'm Chris Dom One. Go check it out and get familiar, okay? We got all those shameless plugs out of the way. Let's get into today's episode 211. Yesterday was the 4th of July. I don't know about you guys, but I celebrate the 4th of July by going to a family cookout, maybe barbecue. I might get 2, maybe 3 different types of barbecue, going to 3 different types of areas. This year, I just did a little barbecuing on the side, and I went to my sister's house and had some delicious Memphis style barbecue. She had some ribs. Those ribs were smacking, okay? Those ribs were smacking, all right? So, as I was going back home, winding down for the day, Kendrick Lamar's video premiered, Not Like Us. Now, we all knew he was going to make an official video to this iconic song. This iconic song blew up in a major, major way. Even the video, the first 15 minutes of it, it got over 1 million views. It had a lot of comments in the comment section. The video, I heard what Jordan Tower said. He was kind of throwing a little shade at the video because he thought he was expecting something else, like a video where they go through different parts of Los Angeles. I'm going to debunk a lot of stuff he was saying. You've been there and you've done that. I mean, who hasn't seen Watts? Who hasn't seen Compton? Okay? Who hasn't seen Hollywood? I feel like California, to be perfectly honest with you, if you haven't been there, you already been there, okay? California, the different types of scenery in California has been copied and reused through magazines, movies, videos, shows. I mean, we have all seen the iconic places of California, all right? So I understand where Jordan Tower was kind of coming from, but to me, that's been there and done that, okay? We've seen the different areas of California, okay? I understand that that's your vision on how Not Like Us should have been. However, I wanted to see a trendsetter. I wanted to see something unique. I wanted to see something different, and that's what we got, okay? First and foremost, hip-hop music is on a rise, okay? I remember I talked to you guys about an article, like a lot of record executives and the powers that be in the music industry was switching all their budgets away from hip-hop and rap and more so to other forms of music. That's why you got an overpopulation of pop mixed with country. You got the boy bands in Tokyo and things of that nature. And it seemed like all the record executives were switching that way, and they was no longer giving the big baller budgets to hip hop and rap. R&B has been dying, slowly dying, but there's a lot of people like myself that loves R&B. Okay, it's just near dear in our hearts. However, that's what the article indicated, and it was a combination of a lot of things. You had you just had like different artists that were representing hip hop and rap, not in the best way. And the record sales and the streams prove it. Well, not record sales, but just the streams, they just proved it. The only, person that remained consistent in cranking out hits were, Drake, I forgot her name. I forgot her name. SZA. I think her name is SZA. You had just like a collaboration of a lot of people, giving their best, giving their best products to hip hop and rap, not letting it go away. But when you got the Sexy Reds of the world, when you got the Ice Spice of the world, and even though Nicki dropped, but that project was here today, gone tomorrow, so to say. Even though there was some bangers, you still had an absence of Cardi B, of Cardi B, and how she everyone's waiting on her sophomore album. We're gonna talk about that a little bit later. But you just had a lot of people, not coming out, or just being on vacation or whatever. So you kept hearing that. And then that's when the emergence of, Metro Booming and Future, that collaboration, they did a double album, and there was poking shots at Drake. And, and then you saw Kendrick Lamar do a feature on, Like That. And that's what spurred, the beef between Kendrick Lamar and Drake. I feel like it went deeper than that. I think there was some chatter between the two, and some disagreements. And and a massive ego such as Drake, you just can't, he's just at a point where he wants to do things his way, and he is not going to allow other people's criticisms or critiques about him. He thinks he's the king of rap, and he's untouchable. But Kendrick Lamar welcomed that beef, and that, in essence, that beef between Kendrick and Drake, that, elevated rap and hip hop to another stratosphere. Now it's on top of its game. Okay. And from Drake's perspective, and I knew going in that this was going to be a very hard battle for Drake to pull a W out. And I was counting the ways on how could Drake win this. Okay. One is through social media, where you had bigger voices in social media, such as DJ Academics, that was proclaiming Drake the GOAT, and he's untouchable, and he's unfadable, and you had social media, you had his fans, you had the fan base. You also social media, as Drake does put out a lot of content on Twitter and Instagram, and he was just going to drown out anything that Kendrick Lamar brings out. I felt like a lot of people were thinking that. However, I felt like I was the only one. It was just a rare breed and a rare few of us that were saying Kendrick can get this W from Drake. The only way Kendrick could not get a W from Drake if he doesn't respond. And the likelihood of that was not going to happen. All right. So Drake, I feel like lyrically, Drake didn't appreciate hardcore fanatics of hip hop and rap, particularly this culture. And this culture is founded, the seeds are placed that, the lyrics really do matter. The creation really do matter. Okay? All of that really do matter. I remember a long time ago, when Snoop Dogg was beefing with Drake, and he went on his own and did his own music. And I remember he did a song, and the beginning of the song said, "Who needs a beat?" Basically insinuating I really don't need Dr. Dre. I'm Snoop Dogg. People are going to F with me because I'm Snoop Dogg. And that was the rare time I was saying to myself, and no disrespect to Snoop Dogg. I like Snoop Dogg. I like Snoop Dogg's music. But Snoop Dogg, I don't consider Snoop Dogg the reason why I F with Snoop Dogg is because of his lyrics. I really F with Snoop Dogg because he's different, and it's a combination of a lot of things that factor into a Snoop Dogg song. And, the lyrics is part of the ingredient. Okay. However, when I listen to a Kanye, a Jay-Z, a Nicki Minaj, I'm trying to think of people recent that I know a lot of people that are listening to this podcast, they're not going to be familiar of someone, in the past, that I really dig their music. So I'm going to put up someone, I'm going to talk about people recently. Even Drake, a lot of people don't give credit to Drake. Drake do have some penmanship, okay? Yes, I know he depends on collaborating with other writers as far as his hook go, or maybe saying it in a different way. Yes, I know Drake, likes to take different flavors of different parts of the world. At one point Drake was in the bag of Young Money, that type of style. And then he transformed to like UK, London type vibe, then the Allen music, then the R&B, then the house. Then he, like down south, he adopted a lot of the down south flavor or Houston flavor. And yes, I understand, when Drake does a project, sometimes that project is not going to be the same project that he did like a year ago or 2 years ago, because Drake is like a guy who loves cuisine, and he travels all around the world to taste different types of food, experience different types of culture. And that's that's how I view Drake. Now, Kendrick claims that he's a colonizer, and in essence that's the pure definition of that. But I don't think there was any malice or intention on what Drake does. Drake, if Drake F's with your style, he's going to adopt your style. Now, he's not going to just rip it and steal it from you. If he likes it, he's going to use it. Okay? So when Drake was coming at this, when we were looking at the Drake and Kendrick thing, I think Kendrick was going to get this W because Kendrick penmanship is a lot better than Drake's penmanship. Kendrick's lyrics have meaning. It has meaning by, it feeds a lot of your emotions when you listen to a Kendrick bar, when you read it, or if you just listen to it when you're bobbing your head. But I felt like lyric-wise, Kendrick was the better writer, the better rapper than Drake. And I thought that since the beginning. You know, you had a lot of people that was giving Drake the W before the diss song started dropping. And that's, and that's because of social media, the power of social media, the power of influence. When you got a bunch of influencers like Kai Cenat, DJ Academics, when you got these influencers of social media, they sort of like are the puppet masters to the audience of social media. So whatever they say goes. You saw Kai Asante just, trash Glorilla's. Remember when Glorilla came out with that Cha Cha Cha? And he just basically called it trash. And it gotten so much feedback. Glorilla had to go, but even though she was beefing with him and blocked him and things of that nature, she had to go back into the lab and come out with something different. And she did, and she hasn't looked back since. But that's the power and the influence a lot of these streamers and content creators or influencers have. And that's what I was thinking. I was saying, like, Dre's going to utilize everything in his resource to get this W, other than trying to out-lyric Kendrick. Because there's no way in the world Drake can feasibly out-lyric Kendrick. And I do feel like Drake knows that as well. So you got that. So another thing that when I was looking at this and when the song started dropping, Push Up was okay. Push Up was okay. Well, first person shooter, he was throwing a bunch of subliminals at Kendrick, but I felt like Push Up was just no subliminals. I'm going straight to your head top. And to me, I was feeling the beat. I was bobbing, but when I listened to the lyrics, even though the lyrics were good, and they were good and they were decent and they were solid, I just didn't feel the emotion behind the lyrics. Allow your brother to explain. I felt like the lyrics had no soul. It had no life. It was like, I'm writing something, and it may had life to the person who actually put their energy and their emotions into it. However, you can clearly tell that this wasn't really from start to finish something that Drake wrote. Now, I'm pretty sure Drake wrote some things and wanted to talk about certain things, but I felt like it was more, Push Up felt like a collaboration. Like when you're in the studio, and you're with your team, you start beginning to write, you start, saying, what can we say about Kendrick? Well, Kendrick is short. Okay, let's talk about his height. And I felt like Push Up and Family Matters, he was really aiming at Kendrick's height. I mean, how tall he is. Okay, what else can we talk about Kendrick? Well, we can talk about, the possibility. Let's throw a rumor out there that Dave Freeze, had a baby by his girlfriend or fiance. And let's just throw that out in the atmosphere. What else? Kendrick was involved in a domestic dispute with his wife. Okay, they broke up a little bit. Okay, what else can we talk about Kendrick? Okay, well, let's talk about so I felt like the Push Up was, let's talk about his shoe size. Let's talk about how tall he is. Let's talk about his relationship with his girlfriend. Let's throw out this rumor about Dave Freeze, and we're good. All right. And I felt like Drake half-heartedly came out. And I like Push Up, no disrespect to Push Up, but I felt like Push Up, that was his first attempt. And I felt like Push Up wasn't a high priority type of song from Drake. You know, it didn't have a lot of Drake's energy. And I felt like Drake or Drake's camp knew that. And that's when they came out with the Tailor Made. I think that was something that was collaborated in the studio. I felt like that was a collaboration with a bunch of people. He was bouncing ideas off the wall. Let's just do Tailor Made. And he used with AI, he had an AI voice of Snoop and an AI voice of Tupac. And, you know, and this is like a closed mind theory. I felt like he was not trying to disrespect Snoop or Tupac. And this is one of those ideas that he didn't really think all the way through. And this is one of those type of things when you have too many yes men in the kitchen. Okay? Like, no one could just tell Drake, I don't think that's a good idea. You're going to sample two voices who are legends in hip hop. But more importantly than that, they're legends in Los Angeles, where Kendrick resides in. I don't think that's a good look. Okay? And I like Push Up. I like Tailor Made. But I felt like, to me, when Drake put out these projects, this was just he was just playing around. He didn't take this very seriously. He was nonchalant about it. And that's when Euphoria came out. And when Euphoria came out, still to this day, I feel like the majority of people that have listened to that song are really not paying attention to the lyrics. And when you look at Euphoria, when you listen to Euphoria, and when you listen to Push Up and Tailor Made, you can feel the difference instantly. You can just feel the energy. You can, when you hear Euphoria, you can feel the disdain and the how he feels about Drake, and how he doesn't like the persona of Drake. He loves the person Drake, but he doesn't like the persona of Drake. And Drake was moving very very carelessly, and he was just line stepping everything. And I felt like people in the industry just had enough of Drake doing that. Now people would, and I think another thing about Euphoria, no one wasn't really paying attention to the wordplay of the sub dialogue of why did he say this? Why did he say that? I feel like the majority of the people that like that song, that listen to that song, is really not paying attention to the details. And the details matter in the context of the lyrics, where you had to dissect and figure out, okay, why did he twist that? And the wordplay, why did he twist it that way? Why did he say that? I just think in this microwave type society where everything is instant, like instant mashed potatoes and instant and 60-second rice, people don't want to put a lot of patience in thought process or put a lot of time into something. People just want that instant gratification. And I felt like Push Up and Tailor Made was an instant gratification to the audience of rap, who didn't want to go in the kitchen and make a real meal. They just want to go in the kitchen, go in the freezer, pick up a microwave dinner, and put it in the microwave and wait for like 6 minutes. And realistically, a lot of people don't even have time for 6 minutes. But that's the vibe I got from Push Up and Tailor Made. It was an instant gratification where you didn't have to figure it out, okay? You liked it because the beat's right, the lyric, it was typical Drake. And whoa, Tailor Made got Tupac and Snoop in it? Okay, yeah, I'm sold. With Euphoria, no one could process the dialogue in Euphoria. Still to this, Euphoria came out months ago. And now you got a bunch of people finally dissecting it and going, oh, I get why he said that. When you listen to Euphoria, you can feel all types of emotions from Drake. From Kendrick. This wasn't I'm trying to take the king down. It wasn't that type of vibe. This was, I dislike the things Drake has ultimately become. And I dislike the disrespect of what Drake done to this culture that we called hip hop. And, and how he treats people, how he treats women. And also Drake's double life that just goes without mentioning. Now, this is the year everybody's getting exposed, like Cat Williams says. Everybody, all your dark secrets are coming into light. Okay, it's coming to light. Okay, if you don't believe me, ask Diddy. How's life going with Diddy? It's not looking too good for Diddy. Okay, Steve Harvey caught it for a minute there. Cedric the Entertainer caught it for a minute there. Okay, so if you have been known in the industry as being that's got this massive ego and think you're untouchable and think no one can tell you nothing, and you have trampled a lot of people and ruined a lot of relationships, even your own relationships, just to get at the top. If you've done any of that, particularly in the dark, it's coming to the light. All right. And, that's what's going on with Drake. There's a side of Drake that no one knew about, that no one had no idea about. And when the exposing started to begin, people were connecting the dots. But with Euphoria, I think that's a song that 5 years down the road, people are going to appreciate it more. People that are listening to it, who just quickly just hit play and just listen to it, and they were bobbing their heads, I feel like 5 years from now, when they're a little bit more mature, they're going to appreciate that song even more. Okay? So that's going to be a delayed satisfaction for people who are fans of Kendrick, who are fans of the hip-hop culture. So, another thing I felt like Drake, really screwed himself, and it was bad timing, bad timing for him, not so much for Kendrick. Drake didn't understand how big and how important the hip-hop culture is, and how the hip-hop culture is deeply rooted and deeply connected to the African American community. And there were some, particularly in Family Matters, when he talked, and he talked about it in Push Up a little bit, but he really talked about it in Family Matters, how Kendrick running around here like he wants to free the slaves, and Kendrick running around here that he don't like the women I be swimming in. And he said, I've been with black, white, and I've been with black and white and in between, and Kendrick, how can Kendrick talk about black queens when he's in a relationship with a mixed woman? I felt like when he was taking those jabs in Family Matters, he didn't understand the magnitude on how, when that gets out, how divisive that could be with the African American community. So basically what you're saying, when an African American man is talking about slavery, you're thinking that your thinking is, he's just acting like he wants to free the slaves. He's acting like he's a black leader and this, that, and the third. But you're not even putting any thought or any type of process into the dialogue. You're just quickly jumping into, he's a fake, he's a phony, when you haven't proven that he's a fake and he's a phony. And then when you talk about how come he disrespect the women I deal with, and this is where he got lost. He got lost in the sauce. Well, how can you say that it's disrespectful about the women I date when you're dating those same type of women? So basically he's implying that, so since you're so black, you mess around with, and you're talking about black love, then why are you in a relationship with a mixed woman? And I felt like Drake fans and Drake didn't understand the magnitude of what he said, and didn't understand where Drake where Kendrick was coming from. Kendrick wasn't talking from that standpoint. Now I know in in Euphoria he talked about how Drake is disrespecting black women, and I think that was a trigger word to Drake. But see, once again, I feel like Drake, just like the rest of us, didn't pay attention to the rest of the content of the context of the lyrics of Euphoria. And Euphoria is going to be one of those type of songs that's not going to be appreciated until years to come. And we're going to get to Not Like Us, and how Not Like Us, people gravitated to Not Like Us more than Euphoria. And we'll get into that a little bit later. But Drake calculated too wrong. And Drake, first and foremost, when he started this beef, it was just, fun stuff. I ain't got nothing to do. Hey, I make fun of people on Instagram. I just make a couple of diss tracks about Kendrick. Hey, if anything, it's going to drive my numbers up. I'm going to get a ton of streams. And, heck, I might get a hit out of it and make some more money. I felt like Drake took this situation nonchalant and was thinking very selfish. But Kendrick was thinking, no, here's some things I don't like. Here's some things that you have done that I don't like. And I'm going to assassinate your character right in front of you. And this is one of those things where Kendrick took it seriously and Drake took it nonchalant. And when Drake finally realized that, wait a minute, this guy is taking this in his mindset too seriously. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna throw some money out there on the street and try to dig up some dirt on Kendrick. But You know, the same stuff you was talking about in Family Matters and the same stuff you implied in Push Up, those are the same things you've been talking about. So if you did throw money out there to find dirt on them, like Kendrick said in his song, you wasted a lot of money and a lot of time. I think Drake thought he can buy himself a W and not really put any effort into talent or skills or lyrics. And he thought that this was going to be a big promo for Drake. But in essence, this has flipped on its back, and it has been a disservice to Drake. And now you getting all these articles, you getting all these reports from, Drake is still hanging with people that are, that have been in underage acts. Let's just say that, and how he's still supporting these people. Then you get the videos of Drake parties where there's a bunch of underage women there in attendance. You get all these old videos of girls and models that he have took selfies with, and you find out that these girls were underage. Now, none of this stuff legally is going to, legally, I don't think Drake is, has to worry about it like a Diddy. But who's to say 10, 20 years from now, the same problems Diddy is dealing with now, maybe the same problems that Drake will have to deal with 10 or 20 years from now. Only time's going to tell on that, okay? Particularly if people can connect the dots, all right? But you really watch someone who was crashing right before our eyes. And just when he realized, hey, wait a minute, I'm losing here, let's start taking this seriously, he came out with the 3 hearts or the heart. That was the last diss from Drake. And by that time, it was over with. It was a wrap. I felt like Kendrick pulled a Drake on Drake. And what do I mean by that is, when Drake was beefing with Meek Mills, Meek Mills came out with a little diss song. It wasn't that major. It didn't go viral or anything like that. And then Drake came out with the back-to-back. He had 2 songs on that single. He had back-to-back, and then I forgot what the other one was called. And that shifted the power, or shifted whatever clout Meek Mills got, and it just destroyed Meek Mills. Where Meek Mills could never get back what he lost. And unfortunately, Meek Mill started to gain traction when he started to collaborate back with Drake. First on stage with Drake, and then he did a song with Drake. I got the beat in my head. I just can't think of the name of the song. That ding 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 ding. I can't think of that song. But yeah, I can't think of the song's name. But anyway, Meek Mills had to wave a white flag. And Meek Mills hasn't been right, this since. I mean, he's gotten a little popularity, but he had lost a lot of credibility. But he's slowly regaining it back. I felt like if that collaboration with him and Rick Ross would have blew, I think people would be, they wouldn't be talking about that anymore. Okay, so I don't think people talk about it to that extent, but hey. So here we are. Not Like Us. The video came out yesterday. And I felt like, and when I heard that they was making a video and I saw some of the behind the scenes videos, if you want to say that, I felt like this was going to be a signature type of video where it's going to have a lot of deep meanings in it, without Kendrick even saying nothing. And it did. You saw the unification of West Coast music presented in that video. You saw a growing audience of people supporting Kendrick more than Drake. He had DeRozan on there. It would have been great if he had Serena Williams on there. And maybe Serena Williams didn't want to be involved in it because of fear of what Drake might say to her. Or, she's probably, out and about and she couldn't do it at that time. I don't know. You saw the West Coast style, the West Coast flavor in that video with the dances and the lingo, the clothing, the fashion. You saw all that represented in this video. You also saw Kendrick in that video not celebrating the fact that he got the W with Drake, but just celebrating the fact that hip hop matters, rap matters, lyrics matter, penmanship matters, but more important than that, substance matters. You have to be about something. You have to have something in you that fulfills everything about you. It can't only just be about making money and effing every girl in the world. It has to be more to it than just that. Okay? So you got that from him. You got so much stuff from that. You got Kendrick and his fiance or his wife, girlfriend, the unification of that couple, and how, remember what Drake was saying, that they're not together, and this, that, and the third, and blase. It showed in that video that they they have a mutual respect, at least a mutual respect for one another, but it also shows their chemistry, and you can tell why she likes him and he likes her, and they feed off of one another. But it also shows how much in love they are in. Now, they wasn't like puppy dog love, but you can just feel it from them. You even had her dancing in the video. And all of these subliminals were major shots at Drake, disputing everything Drake said in Family Matters. But there was one thing in that video that it didn't even register to people, but I'm pretty sure when the weeks go on, it'll register to people then. And it's not the owl, even though I thought the owl was funny. The paper owl that they were, beating up, and then the owl at the end in a cage. That was a symbol of, and people was not paying, of a symbol of we got you. You're locked up, okay? You're not the same like you once was, all right? But that's not what I'm talking about. At the end of the video, when it says executive produced, it said Kendrick Lamar and Dave Freeze. And that's another jab at Drake. Because remember, Drake was saying, oh, Dave Freeze is taking your money, and Dave Freeze is sleeping with your girlfriend, and this, that, and the third. If it was like what Drake said it was like, then they wouldn't be still to this day friends and business partners. They collaborated on a video. So, yeah, I mean, so many different levels to this video. And, yeah, I mean, I like the concept of the video. It was something different. It was something unexpected. And it premiered on July the 4th, where Kendrick, and that was another thing that Drake misunderstood. Kendrick was doing, when Kendrick was winning, he was winning in May, but he was also winning a lot in June. And his music played a lot on Juneteenth. And then he brings out this video on July the 4th, Independence Day. So there's a lot of deep meanings to how he strategized everything. And this is a clear example of Kendrick was playing chess and Drake was playing checkers. Now, can Drake rebound from this? I'm pretty sure he can. But is he going to be the same Drake like he was 2 years ago? No. And to me, it has, even though this is a down part of, hold up. Okay. Even though this was like a down, this didn't look good for Drake. Okay. I think Drake I think there was a lot of chinks in the armor with his last project. And then the single that he did with Sexy Red, that didn't do good. And now he did a single with somebody else, and that sort of bombed. I think Drake, if Meek Mills can come back, why not Drake? All Drake needs is just that one club banger. And it's not going to be to the effect that people are going to totally disregard and say Kendrick who. But I do feel like people will start getting into the Drake camp. And, I don't think Drake will ever reach the top like he did 5 years ago. But you started seeing a decline in Drake since then. I feel like her loss was a W for Drake. But he put out so much stuff before and after her loss that didn't help Drake's catalog or his statured. And hey, look, everybody don't stay on the top for long. All right. I still think Drake can make good music. I still think Drake could have top selling albums. I still think Drake can sell out arenas, but I don't think Drake is going to ever be that guy he was 5 years ago when he was on top of the world. It's just too much out there, and we're just going to have to wait and see. But yeah, to me, this didn't help. His beef with Kendrick didn't help. And it definitely didn't hurt, but, you started seeing the decline of Drake. Now, I don't think Drake is no longer going to be doing music, but yeah. So, that's all I got for this one. This one was super, super long, almost 50 minutes. I'm going to do a quick break. And then I got more stuff to talk about, by the way. More stuff to talk about. We'll get into it in a few short shakes. I'll talk to you later on the flip side. Okay, real fast, real quick. BET Awards was last week. Well, this week. First and foremost, last year I forgot about the BET Awards. I was just happening to watch television, and I went, "Oh man, the BET Awards are on. I'm gonna check it out." I wasn't too overhyped about the BET Awards, and this year I totally forgot about it. I missed the boat on it. I caught the BET Awards after the awards were over with, and everybody was it seemed like everybody on social media just lost their shit. They lost their ever loving mind. Let's talk about Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith, it was upset that BET Awards nominated O.J. Simpson. I guess it was a Lifetime Achievement Award or an award, and Stephen A. Smith flipped his lid about it. To me, this is one of those type of situations where sometimes you have to separate the individual from their art. It's just one of those type of situations. Sometimes you got to separate the two. All right. I understand O.J. Simpson was a phenomenal running back for the NFL. I understand that he had a phenomenal career in broadcasting. He also ventured out as an actor. He was on the Naked Gun series movies. And he was a celebrity. I understand all that. But I can separate his achievements from the person himself. I don't know O.J. Simpson well. The same research that you guys get about O.J. Simpson, I get that same type of research. I don't know him personally. So why would I, talk about him as if me and him had an interaction, or we're friends, or we're like colleagues, or whatever the case is. I understand that people, don't like O.J. Simpson because of the crime he committed, and that's understandable. About his wife being deleted, and a lot of people still to this day feel like O.J. Simpson did it, or he knew who did it. Okay, but they're putting the majority of the blame on O.J. Simpson. I understand the Goldman family have a disdain for O.J. Simpson. I get all that, okay? But me, I can't say 1,000% that this was a good guy or this was a bad guy. But if we're celebrating his achievements, can we just separate the two? Can we just simply separate the two? You can celebrate someone's achievements, but you don't have to respect the person that we're celebrating. We're just only celebrating his achievements. All right? And that's what the route BET took. If I had any say so in this decision, I would veto it, because it's just not a good look. It's just not a good look. And you can also say that, hey, there are going to be a lot of people that are not going to be happy with this decision. But this also goes to show the dysfunction with the BET network. I forgot his name. The guy, Tyler Perry, was interested in buying BET. So was Shaquille O'Neal. I think one point Diddy, before Diddy found himself in his own situation that he can't get himself out of. But that's neither here nor there. But Viacom refused to sell it to And I think Irvin Magic Johnson was wanting, back in the day, wanted to buy BET. And you could tell Viacom, not only Viacom, but I forgot it's not Comcast. Anyway, I think it is Comcast. You can tell that BET is not on their high priority list. They're just letting BET just, fall off on the wayside. That's just my humble estimation about it. And when you don't have high priority in something that you own, you instantly devalue it. And Tyler Perry was going to pay a lot just to get BET away from Viacom and from Comcast, and they refused to sell to him. Shaquille O'Neal offered the same thing. They refused to sell to him. Sell to him. Even Irvin Magic Johnson back in the day was interested in BET. They refused to sell it to him. But you can tell that BET has been on a dysfunction type of situation. And, the powers that be at BET, either they're no longer there, or they don't have a voice or veto right. So they just going along for the ride, or they just moved on and went someplace else. All right, either or. But I would, if I had anything to say, I would have said, no, let's not do the OJ thing. We can talk about OJ's accomplishments and achievements, but to take it to that, no, I couldn't do that. But Stephen A. Smith on his own show, talked about it, talked real greasy about it, that is what it is. But as far as the BET Awards go, every year the BET Awards, to me, loses its value. And I watched the highlights of it, and even they screwed up on the Usher Lifetime Achievement Award that was going to let him speak, and they cut his they just cut his mic off. It was just way too much of that at the BET. They're just doing way too much. And you can clearly tell BET's vision is no more. The people that had passion and cared about BET either are no longer there, or they have no influence or control on what happens to BET or the shows that are in the BET network. And you can clearly tell BET is just, it's not the same BET like it was 20 or 30 years ago. All right. But, as far as the BET Award show, I watched the highlights and I said to myself, why do we even have a BET Award show? That's the point I'm making. We got Essence. Okay. We have other, and I don't watch the Oscars. I don't watch the Academy Award. I pay attention to Essence. I used to pay attention to BET Awards. But there are other award there are other award shows that shows Black excellence, and we should appreciate those shows. BET, and on Juneteenth too, it just wasn't a good look. I was saying to myself, why do we have the BET Award show? Okay, so Cardi B performed, Meg Thee Stallion performed, Glorilla performed. They had some heavy hitters, but I don't know. Maybe it's a combination of, it would have been dope and great if they would have had Kendrick on. I think that would have been the highlight of the BET Awards show. All right. Because you got this guy who single-handedly put hip-hop and rap, the culture, back on the pedestal. All right. When everyone was talking about, it's slipping. is slipping, all right? Or if y'all gonna go to the extreme of giving O.J. Simpson an achievement award or whatever, or giving time to talk about him, okay, you know what would have been better than that? Having Drake perform at the BET Awards show. All right? If you're going to do O.J. Simpson, you had no problem doing with O.J. Simpson, why would you have a problem having Drake there? Oh, either through a video or whatever. That would have really helped Drake's credibility as well. Okay? But, you know, why do we even have the BET Awards show? That's the point I'm making. Why do we even have it? Okay? Because it's always half-assed. You know, they're always screwing something up, or there's always something on the stage or something out in the audience that's messy or whatever. I think last year one of the city girls got upset because Ice Spice was sitting close to them or some crap like that. I don't know. Why do we even have the BET Awards show? That's the point I'm trying to make, okay? So, yeah, I just want to give you some time on that. Yeah, I saw it. And, yeah, it is what it is. But moving on. Something that should matter to us, it doesn't necessarily matter to the audience. You know, and it's the presidential debates. First and foremost, every African American male, female, whatever your nationality is, go old, young, we have to vote. We got to get out there and vote, because if we don't get out there and vote, this is going to be a process. This is going to be the foundation and the process where everything goes left. If we don't start voting for people that represent us as judges, as council at large, House, Senate, mayor, governor, the House, I already said House and Senate, president, we need to start putting people in place that, you know, identify with our causes. Because if we don't do it, and it starts with the presidential, it starts with this, but if we, you know, slip, if we're out here lacking, this is going to be the building foundation of what's going to come for the next couple of years, where slowly but surely, you know, people say, you know, why should I vote? It doesn't matter anyway, because the people that I want ain't going to get elected. Well, they're not going to get elected if you don't vote for them. How's that? All right. So, let's get into the presidential debate. First and foremost, Joe Biden and his camp, they agreed to debate Donald Trump, but only on their terms. And I like the terms that they had. Mics cutting off, no interruptions, allow each candidate to speak on something that the other candidate said, but you couldn't do it all the time. And they had a time thing, and then once the time was up, they cut the mics off. Okay, so I like the setup. I like the time, and you know, to me, and Biden, and I've said this about, and I'm gonna use an analogy what I use with Drake and Kendrick. And when they started this, I said, look, Drake really doesn't have to entertain this, because if he wins, what did he gain from it? He's already popular. He's already on top of the mountain. Okay? But if he loses everything. he had more to lose than to gain to entertain a situation with Kendrick. On the other hand, with Kendrick, he had a lot to gain and little to lose. Okay? So when I look at Biden and Trump, and even though there's a lot of polls that say Trump is up, but he's not really beating Biden that seriously in the polls. But if they didn't never have a debate and everyone goes vote, the possibility of Biden losing his bid to repeat is slim to none. Okay? Because of all the other stuff surrounding Trump. Okay? So Biden had a lot to lose entertaining this than Trump had. So going in, I'm thinking that Biden is going to be on Biden was going to be on Trump's head top. He was going to talk about the various things he finds himself in trouble with. He was going to talk about when when he was president, he left this country in the hands of Biden and a lot of stuff, and he left a lot of mess on Biden's hands. Biden, and even though Biden, I'm gonna be honest with you, Biden is not doing a good job in his term, but is no worse than Trump. So from the outside looking in, I'm thinking, like, if this is just a debate, I mean, all Trump got to do is all Biden have to do is put the full court pressure on Trump, or just talk about whatever the moderator brings up. Okay? So, the debate starts, and immediately I noticed that things change, and things change in the worst way. To me, Biden comes off as he was incoherent. He was bumbling his words around. He was mumble rapping. He was just not there. Like he was under the influence of some type of subscription drug. Like, this was just too early for him to be debating. I mean, it's too late for him to be debating. He showed his age and then some. Trump, on the other hand, was energetic. He was coherent. He was excited. You can understand Trump. And Trump was being Trump. Let me deflect. Let's not talk about that issue, but let me deflect it and flip it on his head and then flip it back to Biden, saying that it's his fault. You know, Trump was doing a lot of lying that if Biden was somewhat coherent, he could fact check a lot of that stuff. You know, you have to do more than just call him a liar. You got to do more than just call him out. You're going to have to say, no, that's not true. Actually, it's this, and that. And he knows that's not true. And that's how I thought Biden was going to beat him. He was going to beat him like a drum. But after I saw the debate, first and foremost, a lot of people think that neither candidate looked good or did good. But everyone is admitting that Biden, out of the two, Biden looked worst off. Okay. And even Biden himself said, hey, I'm not good at debates. That's not my forte. I'm more good at other things like running the country. And I get all that, but it's kind of hard to go that route when you and your team said it was okay to do this debate. If you had that mindset, hey, look, I'm not good at debates, don't start enough if you're not going to finish it. That's how I feel about it. To the point where the Democrats are talking about, man, we may have to put somebody else on the ballot because Biden, this isn't it. He showed his whole ass and then some. He showed his whole age. I don't know how old Biden is, but it looked like, man, he was pushing 90. Like, he was incoherent. It looked like he had Alzheimer's. He was mumbling. Looked like he was ready to go to bed. He showed his age and then some. He's going to be the oldest president thus far. And I think that's what's going to be the nail in Biden's coffin, this debate. And, now I feel like it's too late in the game for the Democrats to just throw anybody, because who the Democrats got that's even popular than Biden? And by the way, Biden's not even that much popular than Trump. But who's more popular than Biden in the Democrat Party? Now, I know a lot of people want to big up a lot of people in the Democratic Party. But if I mention these names, y'all going to go, who? Who's that? Okay. Kamala Harris, I feel like is going to be, I feel like another 4 years where she starts to put her imprint in this next 4 years. If Biden gets elected, that's what you're going to see from Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris, a lot of guys are not feeling Kamala Harris. Okay. I feel like a lot of guys, one of the reasons Kamala Harris comes off as a feminist, she comes off as someone who's combative, someone who's, I'm trying to use my words very carefully because I don't want to defend anybody. I'm just telling you what other guys see when they see her. She comes off as not a very communicative type of person. She just comes real rough and rigid. And I'm going to tell you, the people that if she wants people to vote for her, okay, I feel like women are going to vote for her. But I feel like conservative women, I feel like she's not going to get all the votes there from women. Minorities is probably going to be split down the middle as well, maybe not favoring her. But the male vote, I feel like black men, the majority of black men will vote for her, but there is going to be a few black in that community that's not going to vote for her. Okay, depending on who's going to be the candidate for the Republicans. It's obviously not going to be Donald Trump. But I feel like white males are not going to vote for Kamala Harris because she doesn't identify to what they like and who they are. Okay, now when it comes to crime, she can probably identify with them a little bit more. When it comes to gun control, not so much, because I don't know what her position is on that. But her being a DA, she's probably all for banning guns. I'm not 1,000% sure about that, but So, who does the Democrat Party has, because they don't have anybody that's going to throw a fair one at Donald Trump. And, you know, I've said before they announced this debate, I was going like, wow, it's going to be kind of hard for him to go through with this because he's going through so much stuff. But when you check out, sorry about the noise in the background, by the way. When you hear a lot of this stuff is going away or it's being delayed. Now, the Stormy Daniels thing came out and he owes money for that. But, look, there is a strong possibility. Let me rephrase that. There is a possibility that Trump could steal the election from Biden. If Trump played his cards close to his vest, he could, you know, take this from Biden. But, you know, Trump is Trump. Trump is going to Trump himself out of being president of the United States. He's going to say something or do something that the American public is going to go, nah, I was going to vote for you, but not so much now. Okay. So yeah, I saw the presidential debate, and that's what I got from it. Again, you guys vote. Voting matters, okay? Voting really, really matters. So get out there and vote, okay? So I'm gonna do some quick news. Wow. In other news, the Hot Tui girls address OnlyFans rumors and her viral infamy skyrocketing. The Hot Tui girl, the young girl who was shot, who shot on to online stardom, thanks to her X-rated video, has shot down widespread calls for her to do an OnlyFans. Even as her viral name continues to skyrocket. Haley Wetcher, 22, ruled out joining the website on Wednesday as she calls on her newfound fame to quit persisting her account details. Stop asking me for my link in the bio for my OnlyFans. She ruled out joining OnlyFans. And to me, that... Look, real fast, real quick. As of right now, there's no need for her to join OnlyFans. Because that interview that she did in Cashville, Tennessee, aka Nashville, Tennessee, that clip has made her go viral. She's a celebrity. She's popular. I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of companies that want to do some type of collaboration with her, like Hot Tui sauce or Hot Tui barbecue sauce or KY jelly. Here's an idea. KY jelly comes out with a new lubrication called Hot Tui. All right. There's that Hot Tui name. They can flip that so many names as far as brand deals go. She's got a clothing line. She's selling t-shirts with Hot Tui. She already copyrighted that, so there's no need for anybody to try to go that route. And she's probably making money on OnlyFans. She's probably making money on social media. If I was her, I would be doing live streams, reacting to that video going viral. Maybe she is, maybe she isn't. And she really doesn't need to do OnlyFans because she's going to make tons of money doing other things. But I did tell you guys of that possibility last week. I feel like she doesn't need to do it now, but when it starts to slow down and people have moved on to something else, because a viral clip is here today and gone tomorrow. And when people start looking at another viral clip, they're going to slowly but surely forget about her. She's still going to have an audience. And then when she's not getting the views and when she's not getting what she's getting right now, let's just say 2 or 3 months down the road, maybe a year from now, she might revisit the ideal of, you know what, let me do an OnlyFans or a Fansly or whatever. All right. And she'll do that. All right. So I'm not going to rule out the possibility that she's never going to do it, but I don't think she's going to do it now because there's no need for her to do it now in the first place. That's just my humble estimation about it. You can go check out my video last week. Let me see. Who in the hell? I got some more OnlyFans news. Lily Allen joins OnlyFans to sell feet pictures. The singer, I don't know who this girl is. You could say Lily Allen is a multimedia artist. Following years of making music, acting, hosting podcasts, the 39-year-old star has revealed a new business venture, selling pictures and videos of her feet on OnlyFans. Okay. Allen recently launched her page, a subscription-based page. It's $10 a month. And she talked about it through her Instagram stories. Tuesday, July 2nd, the Smile singer posted a sneak peek of her latest upload, a video of her bare feet resting beside a fountain in Italy. Okay. News come about 2 weeks after Allen revealed this on an episode on her podcast called Miss Me, and she was considering selling feet content. Okay. All right, we're gonna stop it right there. So, yeah, I'm gonna be 1,000% real with y'all. I don't even know who the hell this is. All right. She does have a husband. She's a content creator, but she's more famous of music. Never heard of her before. I've never even heard her podcast. And this article I read to you guys of Miss Allen, it's the same situation like the Hot Tui girl. Like, maybe a year ago, 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, Miss Allen, Lily Allen, she wasn't even thinking about OnlyFans because she was making money hand over fist with her music, social media, her podcast. Pretty sure she got a YouTube channel. Life was good, but but that's the funny thing about clout and popularity. You're here today and you're gone tomorrow. Okay. So when you're downsizing and when your popularity is on a decline, it's not on an incline, it's on a decline. You start thinking to yourself, okay, what other facets I can get into to get back popular again or to make some type of money. And I'm pretty sure her fan base has been asking her about doing OnlyFans and doing feet content. Now, I'm not no big feet freak. Okay. I'm just not into that. I don't know of too many people that are into that. And I hate to stereotype people that like feet content, but I get the sneaking suspicion people that like feet content are people that are not sociable and they don't really vocalize what they actually want. And if they get anything from a woman, they appreciate it. And those are the ones that really shell out the major money. The shy ones. The ones that are not socially communicatable, or that's not even a word, but they're just not sociable. And they'll just take anything that you say. Like if you say I'm selling feed content, they're gonna say, yeah, I get to see something of you. Okay. So I'm not no big feed content guy. I was never turned on to feed content. Hey, it is, but everybody got their freaky desires. That's just not my freaky desire, but hey, whatever. So yeah, I wish her the best of luck. It's $10 a month. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some guy out there, a lot of guys out there that are going to pay for that. And if you got an audience, people will, people are going to support you. Okay. They're going to support you. All right. So I wish her the best of luck. Okay. So, one more thing. We're going to talk about one more thing. All right. And this is more about me. So this isn't coming from the interwebs or anything like that. All right. So if you've been following me on Threads, if you've been following me on Twitter, I don't really talk too much about it on TikTok. I really don't talk too much about it on Instagram. But I talked about it heavily on Threads. And by the way, go check me out on Threads. All my links are in the description below. Just click it. Okay, click it. I think my link tree is in the link below. So just click my link tree. You can follow me with your heart's desire. And I want to use Threads more. I don't use Threads a lot. So I'm going to be promoting a lot of content on Threads. I'm going to be talking on Threads. So if you want to follow me on Threads, just follow me on Threads. Okay. So I've talked about this on the podcast. I even talked about it on the videos. On videos. My disdain with people, particularly content creators. First and foremost, I don't think a lot of people appreciate content, people that create content, the things that they go through. Now, as the viewer, when you're looking at someone's content or you listen to someone's content, you say the following: oh, that's so easy, anybody can do it. And I feel like there's a lot of people out there that has a disdain for content creators. Even though that they watch their videos, they still have a disdain for you. I think that's kind of weird. If you don't like somebody, if you don't want to F with somebody, then don't F. If you don't like them, you don't want to F with them, then I think it's weird. You say, oh, I don't like you, and you disrespect their craft, but you still continue to subscribe and watch them. I think that's weird type of vibes. Okay. If you don't like them, just move on. Okay. So, but there are content creators out there that don't give society, social media, they don't give them their credit. They don't give them their props. They don't appreciate them. I'm not saying that you should treat them like a valuable resource, like diamonds or gold, but a simple like or a simple share, or, other than just viewing and listening to the content, would be very appreciative to a lot of content creators. Not just me, but everyone out there. Okay. So particularly when you're talking about how I feel like content creating is on a decline. Okay, so appreciate these people while they're here. That's the point I'm making. All right. But I do feel like, and I appreciate those content creators. However, I do feel like there's a lot of content creators that don't appreciate their audience, of how little or how much they do. I feel like there are content creators out there that try to bully their audience to comment or to like it or to share it. You can suggest anything, and they can either do it or they either not do it. Okay. But you shouldn't hold them hostage, You shouldn't bully them into doing something that should be organically done. All right. And some people, some people don't want to, some people don't want to, share other people's content. Some people don't want to hit the like button. And we just talked about it a few minutes ago. But then there are other people out there, they have some weird excuses. Like they said, well, if I like it, then it's going to be recommended. And then stuff that are similar to that is going to be recommended. And then that's how I get caught up in the algorithm. I may like it for this day, but that don't necessarily mean I want to continue to support it and like it tomorrow. People be having weird excuses and analogies. And hey, that's fine. Okay? But this is directly at content creators who don't appreciate their audience, who bullies their audience into liking their stuff, sharing their stuff. Oh, you have to like this, you have to comment, you have to share it, or I'm going to block you, or you're not going to watch my content no more, or unsubscribe, or if you got that vitriol about, and if you got that type of energy, then that's a you problem. That's what you're telling me is, and what you're telling other people is, you're not even, you're paying more attention. And as a content creator, you should, it's not the important thing, but it's something that you should, pay attention. And I'm going to tell you why you should pay attention, but people pay attention for all the wrong reasons. If people get like 30 views and they look at their views and they go, well, I was suspecting 1,000 views. And you know what? If they're not going to give me 1,000 views, I'm going to block them. Or if they look at their likes or their hearts and they go like, man, I only got 10 hearts, but 50 people watched this. So there's 40 people out there that didn't like my video. And I'm going to go out my way to bully them to like it. And if they don't like it, I'm going to block them. They no longer can watch mine. I feel like there are a lot of people out there that are not humble, and they don't appreciate what they do get. And I talked about this. First and foremost, if the dream is listening to this portion, I talked about this, about your hostility over me, but at the same time, I forgave it because I just put it to the side. Because I was saying to myself, well, maybe she's going through some things, maybe she was expecting things and it just didn't come to fruition, and maybe she just had a bad day. And I just said, okay, it's no big deal. I'm just going to move to the side. I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep doing me. And I forgot about it, but there was another girl who begged me. She didn't beg. I should rephrase that. She I didn't even know who she was. She hit me on my DMs and said, hey, I got a new Instagram. I'm trying to get so many followers. Could you follow me and support some of my content? I said, no big deal. Checked it out. I subscribed to her. I liked a few of her content, and I just kept it moving. And then, I didn't think much of it. And she, like 2 or 3 weeks later, sent me a DM saying, well, you need to unsubscribe to me because you're not liking all my content. And, she said, that's why I message you hoping that once you subscribe, you're going to like my content. And I replied to her back and I said, look, when I went to your page, I liked everything I liked not all of it, but I liked a large portion of it. And that was the last time I even saw your content. And since then, it just hasn't been appearing on my timeline. I go back to her account. She has uploaded some more stuff, but I don't be on Instagram every day, all day. The only time I'm ever on Instagram is when I'm promoting something for me. And if it falls in the timeline, I'm gonna spend like a couple of minutes and just, if I like something, I'm gonna like it. If I don't, I don't. And that was that type of situation. But I felt like, to me, she was not humble. She didn't appreciate the attention that she did get. And that's why on my Threads account, I said, it's crazy how people want you to give them attention. And when you give them attention, they complain about how much attention that you're giving them, how much attention that you give them. Like there's a measuring cup and I want like 3 ounces of attention, but you only gave me a half an ounce of attention. No, I want more. I want my 3 ounces. And I'm going like, no, it doesn't work that way. If someone gives you any type of attention, you should just appreciate it and just keep it pushing and keep it moving on. And I feel like that's where the disconnect with viewers and content creators go, where a viewer say, well, see, Chris, that's why I don't like all y'all stuff. Because y'all don't appreciate when someone do give you attention, y'all don't appreciate it. Okay? And to me, I'm very humble. I'm very loyal to the soil. I just appreciate people. And I appreciate the viewers, but I appreciate the content creators that are out there, because it's not that easy to create content. And it's not that, and some days you might have a piece of content that made 10,000 views. And then you think you got something, like, oh crap, I got something. And then when you make the next piece of content, it gets like 5 people watched it. And then you have your ups and your downs, and it's understandable. Sometimes you are discouraged in the effort people are putting on you. I mean, well, people that are subscribed to you, and I get all that, but you still have to keep a low profile and be humble. And you got to realize that this road that you're on, it's a long road. Okay. There is no interpass. There's no freeway. There's no back road. It's a long road. And if you keep persisting and keep going, you're going to get to the point where the stuff that you want is going to come true. So, and that's why I made the hashtag, ma'am, you're too big for this. You are way too big for this to think that everyone owes you a follow. Everyone owes you a like. Everyone owes you a comment. You got to be humble and appreciate whatever you get from anybody. That's just my rule of thumb. I'm pretty sure people are going to say something totally different, and that's fine. I don't care. But to me, I appreciate anybody that puts in a lot of work and puts in a lot of effort. And I also appreciate people that, even look, I come and I might dig that video, but I might like that video and watch that video, but that don't necessarily mean I'm gonna watch them all. I appreciate that energy as well. So yeah, look, I get it. I really do get it. But unfortunately, it is what it is. So yeah, that's all I got for today. And we're just going to wrap this puppy up. I done went over 2 hours. Jesus. I'm going to have to load this up for next Friday today, so I don't have to worry about dealing with this. But yeah, I don't put a lot of time into this podcast. So it's your boy, the host with the most. I do not brag or boast, and I'm coming to you guys live from coast to coast. Feel free, be sure to hit the like button. Share this podcast with your friends, family, and followers. Episode 211, I believe. Also, if you want to comment in the comment section on iTunes, give it a 5-star and give it a review if you want to do that. You can do the same with Spotify. It's a little bit different on Spotify. And again, these episodes will also premiere on my YouTube channel. This episode will be on next Friday. This Friday was last Wednesday's episode, so be sure to check that out as well. So I will talk to you guys later. I'm up out of here. Outro.